Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Fat Man Stevens podcast. I'm, of course, Marcus Fat Man Stevens. And, of course, last time we had on a podcast, we were talking about WrestleMania 38, giving it a quick preview. And now we are past WrestleMania 38. Both nights have already aired. I'm recording this on Monday, the Raw before WrestleMania. Um, the Raw after WrestleMania. So I just want this episode to all be about WrestleMania 38, my thoughts, my opinions. Now, I did a similar episode following WrestleMania 37 last year, and I ranked all the matches. I'm not going to do that this time. I will give you my top three matches at the end. Of course, I have to be recording when there's construction in the area. Jesus Christ. Why do I do this to myself? Anyway, we going to talk right about WrestleMania. I want to first say I think WrestleMania 38, for the expectations that I had for the show, it far exceeded my expectations. I even will go on to say that I think it was better than WrestleMania 37. And because I think WrestleMania 37, night one was really good for 37, and night two kind of dipped off into quality, except for like a few matches. But I feel like both nights, even like the undercard for night one, which I thought night one was going to be really, really corny, but both nights were really good, entertaining, like on the edge of my seat. But you know what? Let's just go through all the matches. WrestleMania 38 up having 16 matches on the show. So let's just talk about them all. First match of the night was the Usos defending against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Unfortunate start for night one, only because Rick Boogs, of course, I guess he tore his ACL or tore his patella, his patella quad muscle, and that match had to be ended shortly, so it was only like a 7-minute match. I wasn't looking forward to this anyway. I feel like the Usos should have probably been defending against other established teams on the show like Viking Raiders or Los Lotharios or New Day, Ridge Holland. They could have did a big multi-man match. To make it more exciting. They went the SmackDown route, or all the tag title, other title matches were the Raw title was triple threat, the women's title was a fatal 4-way. So why not just do something similar for the Raw tag titles? So it was an unfortunate start to the night, but that's because you don't want nobody to be injured, and which is Rick Boogs. This is his first WrestleMania, so I really feel bad for him in that terms. But I feel like he'll come back stronger and better than ever. I guess Nakamura is just going to go back to being a solo act again, which is probably good for the long run. He can probably start feuding with Ricochet, because some Ricochet and Nakamura matches for the Intercontinental title. That's good stuff right there. Next up, Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. This is Drew's kind of last match in the mid card, I guess, until he ascends back to the main event. And honestly, not a bad match. Much better than I thought it was. The biggest thing that happened in this match was that we got the end of days kicked out for the first time ever since Baron Corbin has been, in WWE, even from his NXT days back in 2014. So we talk about an 8-year stint where nobody kicked out of his finisher, which is amazing to have a finisher that protected in the wrestling world of 2022. So that was the biggest moment. Then of course McIntyre hitting with one Claymore, and that was it. So to be expected, I guess. And then of course after the match, we finally get to see him use the sword for the first time. McIntyre is about to hit Madcap Moss. He jumped off the rope and he hits the ropes with the sword and breaks the ring ropes. I thought that was very interesting, very good. So good for him. Good for McIntyre. I hope this is a return for McIntyre back. It is so noisy today. It's Monday. It's 1 p.m. on a Monday afternoon. Why is it so noisy? Again, I hope this is the return of form for McIntyre, getting back to the main event picture where he belongs. I am a huge Drew McIntyre fan, and after what happened in the main event, I feel like he should be next in line for a title opportunity. So, next up, Miz and Logan Paul faces the Mysterios. Great match. It was really, really fun. I really think Logan Paul is a natural fit. When Logan Paul hit the Three Amigos on Rey Mysterio, then the Frog Splash, natural heel heat. But Logan Paul looked like a natural. Like he really worked at it. Like his is really a dream of his, or was really just a. He really looked like he went out there and did it. And first of all, his gear was amazing. He matched with his with him and Miz matched. But they looked like a team from like a beat 'em up game or something like that. It was pretty nice. I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed the style. I enjoyed. I'm glad that Miz got his win back from last year. Because of course him and Morrison lost to Bad Bunny and Damian Priest in one of the standout matches. But this was a really really great match. Kudos Logan Paul. Miz again Miz and Logan Paul wins, and then Miz turns on Logan Paul at the end. So there's an opening if Logan Paul wants to come back. I'm all for it actually. After his performance, I'm actually. We'll talk about that at the end. But all the celebrities who are on the card who aren't wrestlers in the percents, they all did their thing. This is back-to-back years where celebrities really killed it at WrestleMania. I'm all for celebrities who really want to do it. Stephen Amell, if you're not busy, I know you and Cody are friends, so maybe this is going to be Stephen Amell's way to come back into WWE. Or if not, obviously because CM Punk's on heels, so hit his show for stars, so probably not. We'll see what happens though. But really good match, really fun. Now it's time for for me it was time for all the big stuff. We got all that out of the way. When New Day and got cut on night one, they were supposed to wrestle. The match order they said that had leaked that they were supposed to go before the main event, but that didn't end up happening. So the next matchup was Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. You could probably ask a lot of people. A lot of people will probably say this was the match of the weekend. It was a fantastic match. I loved both entrances from both ladies. Becky had before Becky came out, she had the Marvel entrance showing everything until it came up to Big Time Bex. The best video package of the whole weekend, hands down, and she looked like an absolute queen coming out. Bianca Belair getting played out by the college. I forget, it was South Texas College, whatever it was. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I always love orchestra themes or like play themes of theme songs like that, and they absolutely killed it. Bianca looked like such a star coming out. Her gear was everything too. So, and then they followed with one of the best WrestleMania women's matches of all time. Bianca going back to back like that with such amazing matches. Well, when she had such great opponents in Sasha last year and Becky this year, so it's like, man, it was a phenomenal one-on-one contest. These ladies went all out. They showed why they should have really been the main event. Like if they went on last, that would have been a perfect cap off for the whole night. So I think one of the most impressive things for this match was Bianca hitting a 450 splash on the second rope, and it looked clean, like no mess up at all. It was really good. And again, in this match, we always thought that Bianca was going to win. And even anytime in WWE, when you say, "Oh, this person is supposed to win," it doesn't always feel like it, So they did a great job of making Becky look like she was going to hold on to the championship. Like when she hit Bianca with the manhandle slam on the steps outside, and Bianca, it was almost a count out. It was at 8, and Bianca had not moved yet, and then 9, and she instantly got up and ran to the ring. I was on the edge of my seat. Even the start of the match was great when she, they allude back to SummerSlam, the handshake, and then Bianca goes for the handshake, and then he gets hit in the face and manhandle slam. I thought it was over right then and there, and I almost had a whole heart attack. It was crazy. But yeah, at the end, Bianca is probably getting manhandle slam in the corner. She jumps up on the ropes, second rope backflip. Becky goes with a clothesline, misses, gets her for a KOD. The crowd popped huge for the KOD coming out. Hit her with it, 1, 2, 3. Bianca Belair is the new Raw Women's Champion. As I get ready to cry because I had tears in my eyes because I think Bianca had the best WrestleMania story of everybody, besides the main event winner. I think because again it was redemption for her from SummerSlam. I don't know if that was WWE's plan to build up to Bianca and Bianca and Becky at WrestleMania 38. From SummerSlam, but I always like when main events happen from SummerSlam to WrestleMania, and they make sense like that. And this is one of the few that actually got a chance. And this is one of the longer matches of the weekend. I think it was the third longest match. of the whole weekend, which it should have been. So I think it was really good. I think it was a really great match. Definitely definitely my number two match, and I'm only because I'm a little bit biased because of the next match. But honestly, they're interchangeable. I think that's the kind of WrestleMania match you should have for the females division. And Bianca going on Raw now. I don't know who will be next for her, but I think we should be building up towards Bianca and Rhea sometime at some pay per view. Sorry, at some premium live event coming up very very soon. Next up, Seth Rollins match, and here we go. Seth gets a whole promo. You get the video package, and the building is going crazy. He comes out. First of all, I think I want to say this now. Seth had the best gear at WrestleMania this year. I think for me, it was number one was Seth. Number two was Logan Paul. Um, Number three was probably I don't know maybe either Edge or Bianca. Because it was his gear was tight. Um, I oh man, with the blue and everything, he had the whole great entrance. It was fantastic. Anyway, comes to the ring, and of course you gotta milk it for all it's worth. They waited so long. In hindsight, watching it again, it wasn't that long. But when you're a fan and your anticipation of it, it felt like a forever. Like I was literally just sitting there sweating the whole time. And then of course you get the big pyro, so huge pyro, and then the lights go off. Anticipation still building up. You hear a sound, and then you hear wrestling has more than one royal family. And when I heard wrestling, when I heard the first word wrestling, I was losing my mind. Like again, we knew it's like a CM Punk thing, right? It's a known secret. We all knew CM Punk was going to debut in AEW in Chicago, but it doesn't lessen the moment at all. It only just adds to it. Like we can't believe that they actually did it. And when you hear that, and then you hear the opening riff to Kingdom, whoo boy! And then you see the American Nightmare all on the big stage of the Star. Oh my goodness, the whole presentation was amazing. And then you see the camera angle, and Cody Rhodes just rises up from the elevator, and he comes out. Oh man, I'm telling you, I've at least watched the entrance. I have to be in the 50s now, 50s, 60s, because it was just an amazing presentation to see an AEW wrestler. They literally just picked it up and put it on WWE, which is not really the case. Like you look at any wrestler who's come over, Nakamura, AJ Styles, Doc Gallows, and Luke Anderson. I'm sorry, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. All these guys who came over are big names, but they had to be repackaged in a certain way. Maybe not like even theme song or stuff like that, but he came over with the theme he used in the Indies, the theme he used in AEW. His whole presentation, bigger than life, everything like goosebumps. And then anytime and then when we got to the middle of the ramp, he did his little pose, and the fireworks going off, and they announced his name, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Like the crowd went crazy. Corey Graves did a great job of putting over Cody Rhodes, saying from undesirable to undeniable, and then if you think you read it, but even giving out Legend of Zelda references, Ocarina of Time during the match, which was not on my bingo card for 2022. But yeah, apparently Rhodes is a big Zelda fan. But that was amazing. The presentation and then the whole allusion to the match. The first thing Cody Rhodes does in the match is the Stardust. Is the Stardust cartwheel and the hand thing. And Corey Graves did a great job of just putting him over, saying, this is him shedding his old life. This is him being the American Nightmare, who he's destined to be. Really, really, really good stuff. Wow, just amazing, just amazing. And then they proceeded to have what I thought was the best match of the weekend for me personally. I think they just had a really good. It started off slow, but the best wrestling matches usually do, and they just told a great story. Seth pulling out the reverse suplex off the top rope again was a nice treat. A freaking Cody cutter. Oh my goodness. When he went up, he didn't do the Tiger Driver because he did a power bomb instead of Tiger Driver, but it's okay. I understand why. But when he hit the Cody cutter, boy, I jumped up out of my seat. And then he did his 3 crossroads and his 2 crossroads, then his tribute to his dad, and the final crossroads, and Cody Rhodes gets his a singles win at WrestleMania for the first time. It has to be, I don't even know how long it's been. Probably since WrestleMania 27, so 11 years. That was his first singles win. We fought Rey Mysterio. So, man, what a match! What an appearance! Cody Rhodes is a power player by coming over and beating Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins is probably one of their bigger main event talents. First of all, Seth hasn't won a WrestleMania since 35 now. Lost to Owens at 36, lost to Cesaro at 37, and now lost to Rhodes 38. But him coming in, beating Seth Rollins his first night back in the company is definitely definitely motivation. Definitely saying this is WWE saying, "Hey, you're ready," and I cannot wait. That's the thing I'm looking forward to most on Raw tonight is Cody Rhodes in the ring, live mic. Like, what is he gonna say? And I don't know who's gonna interrupt him. I'm sure somebody's gonna interrupt him. And with everything that happened in the main event, questions. There's questions. So I'm very looking forward to that. Next up, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. There was going to be a dead spot somewhere. When you have Bianca and Lynch and you have Cody and Rollins, I think Charlotte and Ronda of the three are probably the least look forward to match. But they did their thing. I think it was a really good match. They did a great job of just going back and forth. I was just joking to myself for talking to my friend saying, what if Ronda doesn't win? I mean, I always thought assuredly that she was going to win, but because Dolph Ziggler beat Braun Breaker earlier in the afternoon, which we should probably talk about Stand and Deliver. I probably should have talked about that first, but maybe we'll say that for another episode or maybe in the middle. Stand and Deliver was fantastic, by the way. Really good show. Good decisions. Good on Cameron Grimes to win the North American Championship. That made me cry because, again, I lost my father last year. And to be able to win it for his dad was... It really connected with me. I was not a big fan of MSK winning the tag titles again. I really thought the Creed brothers were going to be the ones to do it, but that was still a good match. Gunther killed LA Knight. I feel like LA Knight may be main roster bound this week. Maybe even Imperium might be main roster bound. Dakota and Raquel winning the tag titles was nice. I don't know where that puts Wendy yet. I don't think... It's kind of weird that Dakota went to the finals with Wendy 1 week and then 10 days later won the championship with her former partner. That's kind of weird to me, but as long as Wendy is still a fixture of NXT 2.0 going forward. Man, and then Dolph Ziggler shocked the world. He even said it in the video package. You got WrestleMania, we can all figure it out. He said, they even said, things like, I'm just coming here, I want a title just to drop it back to him. No, sir. That's not the case. So Ziggler is staying around as NXT champion for a little bit. Unless they do a title change tonight or the NXT tomorrow, Ziggler's staying around NXT. And for me, that's cool. Because maybe we can get Ziggler and Carmelo Hayes before he goes back up. Because you want to talk about an athletic specimen match? That'll be that. But Charlotte, and because of that happened with Ziggler, I was like, well, anything's fair game now. Nobody's guaranteed to win anymore. And sure enough, Charlotte retains due to some... Charlotte did tap out, but referee was out. But Charlotte retains with a big boot and pins Ronda Rousey. 1, 2, 3. Ronda Rousey now 0-2 at WrestleMania. I really thought Ronda would have won. But Ronda now joins Asuka as the only other... They're the two women who won the Royal Rumble and did not win a championship at that year's WrestleMania. So Asuka lost in 2018. Becky won in 2019. Charlotte won in 2020. Bianca won in 2021. And Ronda lost. So it is 60% chance right now if you win the Women's Royal Rumble. Let me try to use English. Women's Royal Rumble. Pronunciate your words, Marcus. You're gonna win the championship at WrestleMania, so good on her. For Charlotte retaining. Charlotte always it seems like even number WrestleMania, Charlotte always wins matches she should not have won. 32, she beats Sasha and Becky. Shouldn't have won that match. 34, beat Asuka in her streak. Shouldn't have won that match. 36, she taps out Rhea Ripley. Shouldn't have won that match. And 38, she beats Ronda. Shouldn't have. You can go back and forth. It's professional wrestling, so. But fine match. And then the main event, Stone Cold and Kevin Owens in the KO show, which we all figured that it would turn into an impromptu match, and it did. Stone Cold wrestling his first match in 19 years. Last time he wrestled it was against The Rock in WrestleMania 19. Just amazing. This was a lot of fun. No holds barred, being that they could kind of do anything. You don't need to see like technical holds or anything like that. Just having a good time. Kevin Owens from going from his undecided future at the start of this year to the main event of WrestleMania Night 1, it's like 3 months later, is an amazing ascension. Um, I know Stone Cold will obviously beat Kevin Owens. Like nobody thought Kevin Owens had a chance to winning, but the fact that he took a picture with being a fan of his of Stone Cold for a long time and getting to main event his first match in nearly 20 years. I mean, give it up to KO. I mean, yeah, wrestling's about not really about wins and losses. It is, but it's all predetermined. And to be able to be out there with your hero at WrestleMania in such a big arena, such a big thing, and the main event was a big deal. Like I said, a lot of fun, a lot of the suplexes on the outside. Also took some bumps, but this is all about just having a good time, a good way to end WrestleMania Night 1 because WrestleMania Night 2 ended for the heel. So fun stuff. I'm good to see Byron did not learn his lesson from 2020 when he got kicked in his Johnson area. But it was a good match. It was a good match. It was fun. It was a great way to end Night 1, and the awesome beer bash. It was amazing. All right, that was Night 1. That's about 20 minutes in, so let's get through Night 2. Night 2 opened up with the triple threat tag team match between RK Bro, Street Profits, and Alpha Academy. Gable Steveson was at ringside. This was a quick fun match. Only about 12 minutes long, 11 to 12 minutes long. But it was a really fun match. Nothing's going to beat that triple threat from Raw with Alpha Academy, Seth Rollins, and Owens, and RK Bro because they went like 30, 40 minutes. But like this was really good. It's a really fast paced match. The RKO from the top rope from Riddle to Montez Ford was chef's kiss, and then of course Gable jumping off the top rope and getting hit with RKO. RK Bro retaining their tag titles. After the match, they invite Gable Steveson in the ring, being RK Bro and Street Profits. Chad Gable comes in. Gotta make sure I'm getting it right. Smacks the cup out of Gable Stevenson's hands, and we get our first in-ring action of Gable Steveson with a belly-to-belly. I'm all for Gable Steveson. I think I tell everybody he's the future. My man's only 21 years old. His birthday's next month, I believe. He's born into the year 2000. Like, he's the future of the company. I'd be very shocked if he wasn't on Raw tonight. That's because of the biggest Raw of the year. You need to have your big star. He's retired from college wrestling. I'm sure he's probably still in college anyway, but you gotta pull the trigger on him very soon. Get him in here, like start building him up. I really think if Lesnar's going to stay around for a little bit, Lesnar should be the one to put Gable over, just so you can have the rub. Angle did it for Lesnar. I think Lesnar should do it for your next college wrestler, in my opinion. So that was a fun match and a fun moment. Next up, Lashley versus Omos. This is really quick and unoffensive. That's my whole thing. You don't want this match to go on 20 minutes and it be a boring match, but they did the job what they're supposed to do. The whole thing for me was you have to lift up Omos. That's the whole thing. And Bobby Lashley gave him a suplex. I wish it was the spine buster, but he gave him a suplex, spear to his kidneys, then spear to the front. 1, 2, 3. Lashley wins. Lashley is over. I think the main event winner has. I'm acting like it's not. You guys don't know who won the main event, but now he has Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, who were both in the second matches of both nights, to contend with coming up next because those guys are hungry. They're over, and it's going to be time for him to put a championship on the line against one of these guys. Next up was the Anything Goes match between Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. When this match was announced, when it was a regular match, I was like, but when they announced it as Anything Goes, I knew it was going to be fun. If you were a fan of Jackass and professional wrestling, this is like a melding pot. Is like a dream come true. It is the perfect example of entertainment aspect of World Wrestling Entertainment. This was a lot of fun. It wasn't a wrestling match, but it was a lot of fun. To see all the little moments. Wee Man lifting up Sami Zayn and slamming him down was a moment of the weekend. Hogan and Andre who it was fantastic. I think they should be really proud of the match they put on. Johnny Knoxville with a big mouse trap puts Sami Zayn on it and then flips over and it holds him down just long enough for Knoxville to get the 1, 2, 3. Again, Sami Zayn being in the same position as Kevin Owens at the start of the year, not knowing his future. Of course, all the rumors, but Sami Zayn signs back on at the end of the start of this year. Got an Intercontinental Championship reign, and he got a big match at WrestleMania. I think it's one of my favorite matches on the card. It's probably top 5 for me. And not because it was a wrestling match, but it was because it was a fun match. It was just an entertainment match. Sometimes you don't always need 5-star classics, but this delivered in its own way. Had weapons, it had the fun, the hijinks of Jackass, and the crowd loved it. I think it was a great match. I think, WrestleMania, we always get tied up like, why are all these celebrities here in WrestleMania? But celebrities have been a part of WrestleMania since the inception of it, as WrestleMania 1. Like, Mr. T was in the main event of WrestleMania 1, y'all. So, it was an inoffensive match. I thought it was great. And I think if, as a fan of myself who likes wrestling and Jackass, it was a perfect melting pot of both. Next up, Women's Fatal 4-Way. Queen Zelina and Carmella defending against Liv and Rhea. Natalya and Shayna and Sasha and Naomi. Of the 4 teams that were involved, only Liv and Rhea matched. I think they did Batman and Catwoman, representing Batman for 2022. Nobody else matched. When you're in tag team wrestling, you gotta have matching outfits. But this match, the sole case was to give Sasha Banks her first victory, and Sasha Banks got her first WrestleMania victory. The look on her face when she got the pin told the whole story. In near tears. I'm very happy also for Naomi to get her first tag title reign, her first title reign in WWE since her SmackDown reign, in 2017. So I'm very happy for her. I hope this is going to help them push towards the women's division, the women's tag division, and I hope we get a returning superstar or 2 who are going to be on the card going forward, and hopefully they can feud with them. I'm looking at you, Bayley and Asuka and Lacey Evans, and some NXT standouts. Like, it's time to make this division what it should be. I really thought Raquel and Dakota were going to come up as a tag team. I thought they were really going to lose to Toxic Attraction and then, feud with Naomi and Sasha, but I guess they're staying in NXT now. So this is a great match, by the way. Really fun, quick and easy. Multi-woman match. It was. I think this is on the same level. It was on the same level as the WrestleMania 35 tag match when it was Nia and Tamina, Beth and Natalya, Sasha and Bayley and the Iconics. I thought it was on the same level. Next up, the big dream match: Edge versus AJ Styles. Edge's whole new presentation, his whole new entrance. He had kind of like a little bit of brood. His gear was amazing as well. How does a man get 2 perfect theme songs like Edge? I don't know, but he does. He had 2 amazing theme songs, and this new Ultra Bridge song that he's using was great. The match itself was really, really fantastic. This is probably my 3rd favorite match of the weekend. Obviously, I said Cody and Seth was my favorite, followed by Bianca and Becky, and then this. Really good, slower paced match until it got to the end. It was really good. And of course, the reports came out that they want Edge to lead a heel stable, and Damian Priest, who did nothing on WrestleMania this year after having a great performance last year, comes out. Edge gets distracted, spear in midair, 1, 2, 3. Edge wins, and it looks like Damian Priest has joined the group. So now we have Edge and Damian Priest running together. I want somebody from NXT to be the 3rd man, and I was telling my friend as well. I think Zion Quinn would be a great 3rd in terms of the look of the group. I think he would be a good fit. He hasn't been on NXT TV recently. I really feel like they could use him. You need somebody young though, like a younger person to come up. Zion's like 30, 32, so he can be a power player for wrestling for the next 5 years. No offense to Priest, but I think he's either 40 or pushing 40. I would like Edge to mentor younger guys if that's the case. But yeah, this is a really, really, really fantastic match. Next up, we have the match that was pushed to Sunday, WrestleMania Sunday. So New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Kudos. I think they probably want to get on the WrestleMania card more than anything because they had tribute gear to Big E, and the tribute gear was fire. Good for them. But the match was really quick. It was only 1 minute and 40 seconds, they said. So very quick. It was just in and out the way. So Sheamus and Ridge Holland wins. That's it. Sorry, New Day. And apparently New Day has not won as a tag team at WrestleMania yet, which is mind-baffling. Especially since they've been a tag team since WrestleMania 31. So it's a long time. 7 years, no WrestleMania victory. Next up, match I'm looking forward to probably the most: Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Quick match. It was only about 10 minutes long, but it shows that McAfee, if given chance to really perform, would be an amazing WWE superstar. Like, it was really good. It was a really fun match. Um, Pat or Michael Cole giving Pat McAfee, like, he was hyping him up, was fantastic as well. Like, he was really on his side the whole match. When Vince was ringside for Austin Theory, um, but as Austin was about to hit his A-Town down finisher, Pat McAfee rolls him up 1, 2, 3. McAfee gets the victory. Then Vince wants to challenge McAfee, and Vince gets in the ring, and we have another match: Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee at WrestleMania. Remember, that was the rumored match, all them weeks ago, leading up to it, and we actually got it. Austin Theory, of course, helps from the outside with the interference, and then Vince kicked a football into Pat McAfee's gut area chest, and then he pinned him. They start to proceed to celebrate, and here comes Stone Cold Steve Austin. Another big pop 2 nights in a row, which was fun. Stone Cold proceeds to give Austin Theory a stunner. Austin Theory sells his ass off for this stunner. Give him a raise, give him a championship, give him a push. I know he lost, but he did his job in spectacular fashion, stupendous fashion. And then, of course, we get a stunner to Vince. Vince botched the hell out of it. I thought it was funny. I think it made the moment even funnier for me personally. And a lot of people were saying, well, he botched the first one he got, so it's long-term storytelling. Then, of course, Pat McAfee comes in, celebrates, but of course, you don't trust the rattlesnake. I stunner to Pat McAfee. He did a great job as well. And then the best part of this match afterwards was Pat McAfee at ringside, just down and out, had the beer in his hand. He was just chugging the beer. Just chugging the beer. It was great. This is a great match. This is a fun match and offensive, and I really like to see more Pat McAfee wrestling in WWE. Give him a little bit longer. I feel like he has the potential to be something really special if they want to wrestle. Main event time. Biggest main event in WrestleMania history. Roman Reigns, Universal Champion versus Brock Lesnar, WWE Champion. Roman comes out. Again, really rarefied air Roman is breathing. Not a lot of people have main evented back-to-back WrestleManias in the same title reign. Macho Man did it from WrestleMania 4 to 5. Hogan, of course, did it from WrestleMania 1, 2, 3. So I think he was in the same reign. But this was a big matchup, a big deal for Roman Reigns, because of course Roman had lost. Him and Lesnar, this is their third time meeting in the main event. WrestleMania 31, of course, was crashed by Seth Rollins. WrestleMania 34, he lost again to Brock Lesnar 1-on-1, and this time this is his chance to redemption. We talk about Bianca getting redemption, but Roman really needed this the most. To solidify his run as the tribal chief, he needed to beat Brock Lesnar, and beat Brock Lesnar he did. Roman Reigns beating Brock Lesnar in the main event, a quick finisher spamming match. I don't know why they keep doing these matches, but it looked like also Roman may have got injured. That's the big story of today: is Roman okay? What's going to happen with championships? Because again, though they are unified, it still seems like they're keeping the lineages separate, which is what I wanted most. I wanted Roman to be on both brands for a little bit, depending on both titles. But if he tore his tricep, as people are saying, and looking like that, we may be getting an answer. He may start off wrong, get an answer quicker than anything. So I guess we'll have to stay by the socials and everything. Oh, the main event I wasn't a big fan of, but I understand. I really didn't care about the match anyway. I cared about the result. And again, it was all about building up Roman to the moment where he can finally stand on his own, and finally he said he did the one thing that always eluded him, which was beating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Something he's been building up for the last 7 years. So for me, it was more about the story of it all than the actual match. And the story has a natural conclusion. Roman holding up both belts, the fireworks in the background, and he goes off. And again, joining Hogan as, I think it's the only, I don't think I know it is the only other superstar in history who has main evented back-to-back WrestleManias in the same reign, and he retained his title. Of course, Hogan did it WrestleMania 2 and 3. He retained against King held Money in 2, and Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. So I believe that's the only person who has done it. Macho Man did it from 4 to 5, where he started his reign at 4 and then his reign at 5. Hogan again started his reign at 5 and his reign at 6. So verified air, one person only else has done that in history, defending in the same reign, both back-to-back WrestleManias. Roman has joined that elite company. Now, where do we go from here? Does Roman wait another whole year as Universal Champion to face The Rock? I mean, that's the big match for next year's WrestleMania, right? Everybody's talking about. It's Hollywood. You have to have The Rock in the main event at WrestleMania Night 2, which, because again, we're getting 2-night WrestleMania again, April 1st, April 2nd, 2023. So do you do it? Is that the matchup, or are we getting something different? All I know is that Roman Reigns has a lot of challengers now for both his titles. I mean, he has. I think that the big three from the weekend, of course, is Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes from the men's side, who had the big three performances, like of people who are going to stay around. No offense to Knoxville or Pat McAfee, but we know that they're going to go away after this. So, but what you guys think of WrestleMania Night 1 and 2? What do you think was a better night? Do you think this was a better show than WrestleMania 37? What do you think? I'm all about your comments. You can join me on the socials. I'm on Twitter, Fatman Podcast 90 on Twitter. Hit me up. I'm definitely looking forward. We've been reading a lot of people's comments and stuff about WrestleMania, and it looks like it's been universally liked much better than a lot of people thought it was. So I really enjoyed it myself as a fan, and I'm looking forward to Raw after WrestleMania definitely tonight. But that's it. You can catch me on the podcast on all podcast channels. I'm on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Deezer, anywhere you get your podcasts. Same way with the Fatman Round podcast. It's in the same location. You can still listen to all 83 episodes of the podcast. This jackhammering is so loud. Jesus. Anyway, I'm also on YouTube, the FatmanStephens podcast. Check me out. You can see the video. You can see all my games in the background. See all these PS5 games right here that need to be beaten? They need to be beaten. And that's what I'm about to do after this. So, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you again next week for another episode. Maybe we'll talk about my backlog of games next week, because I have so many of them. And I think I'll talk about wrestling enough for the last 2 episodes. So, let's do gaming next week. Gaming with a mix of Raw after WrestleMania. That sounds like a plan. I am FatmanStephens. Thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.